Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today. For this video I thought we would do another channel update, as we've done periodically on the channel since it started, just to keep you guys up to date with what's going on with me personally and what the plans are for the channel over the next little while. So yeah, at this point we are getting very close to the 8-year anniversary of the channel. That will be on the 31st of July 2021, so we will need to see about organising a special live stream for that occasion. It's crazy to think that it's been 8 years, but hopefully we can get a good few of the other beer tubers involved on that. That would be really good fun to do that. We're also getting very close to the 3000th review, and I have a very nice idea for this video, but I want to do it in Scotland. So we need to see whether the idea can work out in terms of time. Otherwise I'll just use the idea for, you know, a little bit of a kind of special review, if you like, a special episode. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I do have something kind of interesting and quite special planned over the next little while. But yeah, it should be fun to do that. But first and foremost, of course, as well, I want to give a huge thank you to those of you that have supported the channel over the last nearly 8 years or so. Whether you've, you know, liked, subscribed, shared, sent me some beer, shown me around somewhere, you know, told me about your local beers and things like that, become a beer mule on the channel as well. That's the other thing. You know, I just want to give you a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's really humbling to see something that I started as a hobby grow to be as big as this channel has and things. And you know, it's still a small fry in terms of the grand scheme of YouTube, but it's a bit of fun. So who cares? Don't really care what size the channel ends up being, but it's just strange to think there's about 9,500 people out there who like to watch me talking about beer. So yeah, it is pretty interesting, I have to say. But again, it's all about the community. And you know, it's been really fun to be part of this whole BeerTube community over the last few years, and I hope that you guys continue to enjoy it as well. I mean, there's some great reviewers out there. I actually made a list of people that I wanted to mention because people have been asking me what BeerTubers and things I like to watch. So you know, I thought it's nice to give people a bit of a shout out as well. So here in Sweden, there's some really interesting guys as well. There's Rikard at Over at Glass. I've used his channel quite a lot to kind of build my my Swedish beer vocabulary and things. I love that guy. He's just so much energy, and you learn a lot from his Swedish, actually, if you're not a native speaker. It's really interesting. But he's been on the channel a few times for live streams, and I'm sure you'll see him again. There's also Buka Aubert. So he tends to do one video a week. He talks about a beer of his choice, and he also talks about a book that he's read. So he's got something that's a little bit different and really nice. I hope that we can get him involved in a live stream at some point as well. But there's also Peter, the Master of Hoppets. He started maybe 2 or 3 years before I did, and of course, you know, he's very, very well respected. I need to try and organise a few more collaborations with him, but he's in Aalborg, which is about 5-6 hours away from where I am in Lund, actually. So it's not quite as easy as you might think, but maybe we can do some things together in Copenhagen or in Aalborg at some point in the future. I'd love to collaborate with Peter a little bit more because I do watch quite a few of his videos. Of course, we've got the guys at the Dutch Beer Collective as well. Thomas Opent, Thomas Hoendam, my lover, big sexy beast. Of course, he's got some really nice videos. We've got Remy Den Dupe, who is Beer Geek Holland, the OG Dutch beer tuber. Dutch Beer Geek, Herben Kaspars. He's got some really nice videos as well. And then we've got Beers with Douglas, who's the newest one, and he's the most gangster of them all. But the Dutch guys are great. They've come into the community over the last few years, which has been really nice to see. And then of course we've got my fellow Scots as well. So of course there is the legendary Danny McFadden, Sofa King Drunk 66. He started a good few years before me, actually, and he wasn't just doing beer, he was doing lots of different stuff, but he's getting more and more active on the streams and things like that. So we need to get him on the channel for the first time at some point, and I will see about doing some out and about videos with him in Glasgow at some point, because I would like to. There's a few places in Glasgow I would like to go and visit, so it'd be really cool to do a few beer tastings with Danny, so keep your eye out for that. There's also John Mannion, who is John Drinks. He's got a lovely channel. He does beer every so often, but mainly he focuses on whiskey. And he and I actually studied at Aberdeen at the same time. He used to work in the Bobbin, which was one of the pubs that I often used to go to during my student days. But very knowledgeable guy in terms of his whiskey, and I'm hoping that we can film 1 or 2 videos in Edinburgh with him at some point as well. But then you've got all the English guys as well. There's loads of them in England. We've got Bullman's Beer Reviews, big sexy guy, big Greg Bullman, I love him. We've got Christoph, who is over in Newcastle. You'll hopefully see me do a few out and about videos with him at some point. We've got the legendary Rob Hopsine, Stuart Pickard, Ginge Real Ale Trail, Peter, my favourite sarcastic bastard, the clueless drinker. We've got Raggy, I love that guy. Raggy is a legend, does all of these videos by live stream these days, so it's great. You can go on there, chat away to Raggy and chat to the other beer tubers, which is awesome. We've got Harry, Blue Nose Beer Reviews. We've got Beardy Brett, who is down near Brighton, if I remember rightly. Craig at Kent Beer Reviews. And then there's a few newer guys have kind of come on the scene as well. Recently we've got Rocker Beers, who just celebrated his 1-year anniversary. Beer Native, Canadian guy, he's very nice as well. I've been on a live stream with him once. We've got All Hail the Ale, he's got a really good channel there as well actually. And then we've got Beer Dad as well, and there are a few other ones popping up in England as well actually, so there's quite a bit of activity over there. Over in Ireland, of course, we've got Thomas, Window Beers, we've got Views on Brews with Brendan. Those are both very nice channels as well, so make sure you check them out. In the States, we've got Matt, Massive Beers. I was hoping to meet him this summer, but we'll come to that again in a minute. Paul at PA Brew News. Paul's been going for a very long time actually. I've known Paul for a good number of years now. There's Han Yolo as well. He's out on the west coast, I want to say Oregon. He's got some really nice videos. He loves sneakers as well, trainers. He likes to review trainers, which is kind of interesting, but his beer videos are very nice as well. There's also No Hype Beer. He's got a really nice channel. I can't remember exactly where in the States he is, but then you've also got Rod J as well, who's one of the kings of live streams. So yeah, and he's got, you know, all the guys out there that are involved with him, like Blake TV and everything. They've got some really nice things going on out there as well. And in Canada, you've got the likes of Lee Russell, Redbeard, Off the 10th, the legendary Albino Rhino, of course. I like watching these guys. And then there's my friend Nevitt as well, who is American and based out in Japan. His channel is just called Japanese Craft Beer, but it used to be called Bearing in Mind Beer Reviews. But yeah, when I get out to Japan next time, you will see some videos involving Nevitt. We're going to go and have a look at Kyoto Brewing Company and do a few other out and about things as well. But yeah, those are the beer tubers that I enjoy watching, so it's definitely worth checking out some of those guys if you have the opportunity. Some really great beer tubers out there these days, and so go and show them some love and show them some support. But yeah, that's that. As I say, the beer tubing community is awesome. These are all guys that I would recommend that you check out. But anyway, back to the kind of update, if you like, the channel update. So to let you guys know what is going on with me personally, again on this case, first and foremost, my little son Douglas, he's doing great. I'm hoping that the COVID situation improves and that I can get out to Japan in time for his second birthday, which will be the 5th of December. And you know, it feels really shitty that I've missed quite a bit already, but you know, wasn't really much could be done about that. It was quite complicated. The whole situation in terms of visas and things like this was very complicated. Essentially what happened was I lost my right to sponsor Michiko's visa on the basis of Brexit. So yeah, I had to wait for 9 months until I was eligible for permanent residency in Sweden, and now of course that has passed. I am a permanent resident here in Sweden. And so yeah, that's kind of sorted. So we now have the ability to apply for visas and things like that. I think there wasn't a problem with the little guy. It was more Michiko's visa that was going to be a problem. So that is all in the works now. We just need to wait for that to come to fruition. We need to get the little guy his Japanese passport, and then we can apply for his residency in Sweden and things like that and see how it goes. But he's at the stage just now where he's running around all over the place. There's no way you'd get him to sit in one of the machines still enough to get a passport photo. So yeah, we need to figure out about that. But that's something that's in the works. At the moment, I'm waiting for my citizenship stuff to come through. Migrationsverket have asked for my passport, but they've asked for it at a very awkward time because there's various different kind of travel things planned over the next wee while, and it takes them about 3 or 4 weeks to do your passport. So I need to wait and do that later in the year. I've had to tell them that, not right now. Can't give you it right now. So we'll need to see how that goes. But we'll come to the travel arrangements in a minute. But as I say, permanent resident in Sweden now, and hopefully by the end of the year the citizenship thing will be sorted out. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed there's no hiccups with it or anything like that. But on another note, I just finished my Swedish course. I now have level C1 Swedish apparently. I'm at the standard where as a foreign language, of course, as a second language, apparently I'm at the standard now where I would be had I graduated from gymnasium, from high school in Sweden. So that's pretty cool. I might do one or two more advanced courses to get up to the C2 standard next semester, but we'll see how that goes. We've got other plans in the works, and we'll just need to see what actually comes to fruition in that sense. But it's nice to have my sort of high school equivalency of Swedish out of the way, because that opens up a lot more job opportunities and things like that. We're independent speakers, independent writers and things like that now in Swedish, so that is great. So I think over the next wee while, as I've promised you before, we will be doing a few episodes of classic Swedish beer reviews in Swedish, so you can keep an eye out for that. That's something that I really want to get started on over the next few months. The summer's an ideal time because I'm a bit less busy, but other things that have been going on, I gathered a few other credits in like Middle Eastern history and economics during the year, just because I was really interested in economics these days. During this summer, I'm going to do a little course. I've got one or two maths and statistics courses that I thought would be quite interesting, like financial statistics and stuff. And I'm also doing a wee course that's on the early Nordic religions, so it's all about the like paganism and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that, because that's something I've never really studied in any great depth. But over the course of the next 2 semesters, I'm going to be continuing doing what I'm doing, like I work about 75%, 80%, and then doing a little bit of study otherwise. So I'm going to get back to doing my Japanese courses, going to do a little bit more economics, of course. And there's some history courses I thought were quite interesting. If I've got time to do those, I will say about doing them. So those are a mix of like Asian history and European history. So yeah, mainly Eastern European history, the ones that I found. So we'll see about doing those. And I also want to kind of resurrect my German or my French, or do a bit of Spanish. I'm thinking of doing a new beginner course in Swedish on either German, French or Spanish. So I think that's a really nice way to test a language, actually. To learn a third language through your second language, I think is a really good way to test it. So either I'll start with Spanish for the very, very first time, or I'll kind of put my German together. I never had any formal training in German, but it'd be nice to do a course and just kind of piece all of these things together and get a bit more grammar knowledge. So that's the plan for the academic side of things over the next years. I will look at going full-time to work probably early next year, early 2022. I'll look at going back to work kind of full-time, but over the next 6 months I want a little bit of flexibility and things, so that I can go to Japan and visit the little guy and so on. But all the courses are still running by distance as well, so I can basically do these anywhere in the world, which is great. So we'll see what happens. These are the ideas that I have over the next little while. But yeah, in terms of the channel and travel plans and stuff like this, the day that I'm filming this for you, the 7th of June, I actually was meant to fly over to the States, and I think I said this in the last channel update. I was meant to go over to the States. My friend Laura is getting married on the 3rd of July, but the travel ban unfortunately hasn't been lifted yet, which is really annoying. So I'm hoping that maybe sometime in June they will lift it, and I can maybe make it out there at the very end of June, or at the start of July, but there's a very short window, of course. I'm hoping that I can get out there and still see the wedding, and maybe just spend like 2 weeks or something in New England. But I did have quite a nice plan for a trip out there. I was going to spend a few days in New York, do a New England brewery tour with a friend. That was all arranged, and we've got the route, but we're going to postpone this, of course, and look at doing it next year. I was going to meet Paul and Matt, Paul Romeli, PA Brew News, Matt from Massive Beer Reviews. We were going to do some collaboration films together. I was going to go down to Texas and see my old friends from from Germany down there, do the Texas Triangle. One of my friends, she was going to take me out to Albuquerque, New Mexico for a Breaking Bad tour. Then I was going to go with her as well up to visit another friend in Denver in Colorado and do a bit of beer filming out there with another friend as well, which was going to be great. But yeah, this is something we will have to put that on hold, and maybe next summer we can go out to the US and maybe even do a few more things on that. Maybe have a look at California or something as well. Maybe do a couple of days in Chicago too. That would be really fun, because I know there's quite a bit of stuff in Chicago that I never got the chance to do with Jesse. So I'll maybe talk to Jesse about that and see if we can do a bit of Chicago. So yeah, unfortunately, US trip for the moment is off for this year, but we'll see how that goes. On the other hand, it does let me be around to see Scotland in the Euros. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So happy that Scotland managed to qualify for a tournament finally after such a long time. I still remember watching France '98 and you know, John Collins, I nearly said Phil Collins there, John Collins smashing in that penalty against Brazil. That was awesome. But yeah, it's been too long since Scotland have been in a tournament. That team though, with, you know, Ferguson and McFadden and all of these guys, that team, you know, when we beat France, we were in the Italy, France, Ukraine group. We really should have got through in that tournament. I would have loved to have seen what Scotland could have done in the World Cup or in the Euros with that team. Of course, they would have done really well under Walter Smith and Alex McLeish at that point, but wasn't to be. But Steve Clarke, good manager. I'm really curious to see how the team do, because we've got some quite exciting players. Not so confident in the defence, I have to say, barring a few players at the moment, but the midfield is particularly strong at the moment, and we've got two very good strikers in Lyndon Dykes and Nisbet. The goalkeepers are pretty solid as well, but getting on. But yeah, I think exciting times. I'm really curious to see how Scotland will do at the tournament. Hopefully we can turn into a little bit of a dark horse, actually. That would be really cool. But after the Euros, I have two weddings in Scotland. My two best friends, Grant and Darren, they're both getting married. I'm on best man duties for both of those weddings, so I've been arranging a few different things for those. So I'll be back in Scotland from early to mid-August. Then I have to come back to Sweden for a 2-week exam period, because I've got 1 or 2 exams that I didn't sit before. I was sick for my Swedish level 7, so I need to actually do that exam for the first time, although I seem to have passed level 8, which is very nice. But yeah, so I need to go back and do my Swedish level 7. I've got physics and maths exams that I want to catch up on as well. Then I need to go back for Grant's wedding, which is it's early September, so I'll be back for the first 2 weeks of September, a week either side of that wedding. Then my other friend Darren, he is getting married in October, and I'm not sure, his wedding's later in October, but I'm not sure exactly what his plans for stag do's and things like that are. He needs to decide dates for that. So I will be back home in Scotland in October as well. So you will be seeing some Scottish reviews around those times, and no doubt some English stuff, and I'm hoping that I can get a hold of some Irish things again from my guy who supplies me with those. So yeah, now that the COVID situation is done, I'm sure we'll be able to do some Irish reviews again, which will be great. So yeah, looking forward to those. You'll see quite a few Scottish, Irish and English reviews around August, September, October, so keep your eyes out for those. Like I said earlier, I am hoping to get out to Japan. The border situation is still quite difficult, but I'll be looking at going to Japan later in the year too. So if that happens, of course, more Japanese reviews and some sake reviews as well, which I will certainly be looking forward to. So keep your eyes peeled for those. At the moment as well, personally, I'm looking at doing a programming course, which would be in Scotland, and if that works out, that would be from February to May of 2022. There's a very good programming school in Scotland that I want to go there. Obviously, I've told you before that I work as a programmer. I also do a little bit of teaching and things on the weekends, but I'm quite good at Python, but the course that I'm looking at is in Java and C. So I'm looking forward to having a go at those languages, because those are the other in-demand ones, and if you've got Python, Java and C, then you're quite in demand actually. You can get quite a lot of good jobs at that, and then by that time hopefully my citizenship is through and I can look at working in Copenhagen, because obviously over the border in Copenhagen you earn quite a bit more money over there than you do here in Sweden. I will of course continue to live in Sweden, because that's the advantage of it. You can work in Copenhagen, take the train over and live over here. There's quite a few sort of tax incentives as well for you to do that, which is kind of interesting. But I need my citizenship to do that as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I also need to do a little add-on course for my teaching diploma as well to be able to teach IB. So that's something I'm looking at with a friend. And yeah, he and I studied Japanese language together, and he's also a teacher. So yeah, that's something I need to look at, is this little diploma for my IB teaching. So that's something that's also in the works as well. In terms of you know, the different beers for the regular beer reviews and things like that, I'm going to do some Austrian beers. I've still got quite a few of the Austrian beers left, so you'll see those appear over the next little while. I need to do the research and make the notes for those videos. I've also ended up with quite a few Italian beers. I think I've got about 5 or 6 Italian beers sitting there. Severio, who watches the channel very often, he also is going to organise an Italian box for me, so there will be quite a few Italian beers. I need to figure out when I'm going to start reviewing those, because I've still got some other things to work through before I get cracking on that. You might have seen the other night I got some Romanian beers, so I need to do the notes for them and get those reviews out there as well. But I do want to get some Polish beers reviewed again on the channel over the next little while, so I'll see about doing an order from Abrowarium or one of the other online Polish outlets. I do want to keep building the beer mule network, of course, as well. So we've still got Riku up in Finland, we've got Davor down in Slovenia as well, and of course we've got Hans, who's in Austria, in Vienna, and you know, we've got a few other guys who are quite keen to do things as well. The Dutch guys, of course, have offered to keep me supplied with Dutch beer whenever I want it. That'll be Herben probably that sorts that out. I've got Adam, of course, over in England, has offered to keep me up to date with the English beers, and there's a few other folk have been interested in contributing to that as well. So yeah, if you do want to be a beer mule on the channel, if you're watching from some different countries, and that would be really cool. I wish I could get a Norwegian beer mule. I'd love to get a few more interesting Norwegian things on the channel over the next little while, but the Beer Mule network is constantly growing. As I've told you in other videos as well, the Meet the Brewery segment is something that I am working to bring back. That I've been talking to a few breweries about that. I've got a few things lined up in Scotland. I've got a few ideas of breweries that I want to talk to in Scotland, a few of whom have come back positively. Again, it's just due to, you know, how the restrictions are with COVID, and you know, the timings of these things as well. So I need to get back to a couple of the breweries that I've spoken to and see about organising interviews, but I think that's going to be a bit easier to do in Scotland as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. I want to organise, I've got a few things down here in Skiona as well that I'm going to do, a few breweries that we're going to look at down here, and I'm hoping that I can get up to Gothenburg to do a few Meet the Breweries up there with the likes of Dugis and Spike and things like that. It'd be really cool to do that, and and Stigbergs. It'd be really cool to do those breweries if we can get the chance. There's a few breweries in the Stockholm area that we're quite interested to do a few things as well. So it'd be cool to get some more Meet the Brewery segments done over the next little while. As I say, those will happen both in Scotland and in Sweden, and yeah, we'll just see how that kind of works out. I've started doing some out and about videos again. You would have seen me do the one at Hylia Brewery a few days ago. That was really fun to do with John, and yeah, I found a few videos that I'd filmed in Copenhagen as well and published them over the weekend. But like I say, you will see a few more out and about videos appearing over the next little while. I've got a few ideas of where to take that, but I'll keep those close to my chest just now. Beer festivals will be starting up again soon, so I need to see what happens with those, and we'll see about getting another festival video done at some point as well. I always enjoy doing the festival reviews for you. Those are always really fun. But yeah, that's the plan. Those are the plans for the channel over the next little while, and the types of videos that you're going to see. Italian beer, Polish beer, but the Romanian stuff, the Austrian stuff, like I said, and so on. When it comes to travel, as I said, two or three trips to Scotland over the next few months, potentially getting out to the US for July. I'm hoping that can happen and I can still make Laura's wedding. I really hope that can happen. But yeah, as I say, we'll look at going out to the US for a bit longer next year potentially. To Japan later in the year, of course, as well, to visit the little guy, which is the most important one. Which I'm really looking forward to that. I'll probably cry when I see the little guy again, but that's a really shitty situation at that. Don't want to talk about that too much. But yeah, beyond that, if my programming course can work out for February to May, I'm looking at doing an England tour. Probably after that, and I'll go down and I'll visit all the different beer tubers down there, film some out and about videos with them, maybe some meet the breweries, who knows. But yeah, if I can get the England tour to work next year, then you will see a lot of interesting out and about content from that. Thomas and I had been talking that we might do a meetup at some point, so whether that would end up being in Hamburg in Germany or I go to the Netherlands again, we would need to figure that out. My dad and I had been talking about doing a wee short trip to Finland, which I would really love to do. I still want to do Slovenia, Croatia, Montenegro. My cousin and I had been talking about that, and if that's possible, maybe we'll do that before he heads out to Canada, actually. So yeah, who knows, I might even visit him in Canada at some point over the next while. But yeah, Ukraine is another one that I've been wanting to do for a while, and Singapore is somewhere that I'd like to go in Asia as well. So I don't know, maybe Michiko and I will take a little break and go to Singapore during my time in Japan. I'd love to do that if things are opened up a little bit more. It'd be cool to take the little guy on his first trip abroad as well. But how I don't know how manageable that's going to be with the heat and stuff in Singapore, and having a 2-year-old little guy as well, actually. But we'll figure that out. That's something that we can look at. But these are the main ideas, and hopefully, as I say, the process of visas and stuff like this is not going to be too much longer, and then we can figure some stuff out longer term. At the moment, it's still looking towards the next kind of year or so and seeing what can happen. But yeah, I think that kind of covers everything that I wanted to talk about in this channel update. A lot of things going on, as you can see, but it is nice because there's having the Swedish permanent residency. That means that there's a bit of a concrete base for things to go forward, and it means that things are a bit more certain. It certainly means that things are a little bit more doable now, should we say. So yeah, just got to see out the last little bit of time and things like that, and then hopefully the citizenship will come through, and then yeah, that's it. That's everything kind of settled. That means that I can go back to work properly full time and things. So yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. But yeah, lots of ideas for the channel over the next little while. As I said earlier, a huge thank you to those of you who supported the channel over the last 8 years. I'm sure we'll be going for many more years to come, and lots of interesting content coming for you over the next little while, hopefully. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. But again, thank you for watching. Check out all the beer tubers that I mentioned earlier. Check out my social media, and yeah, if you do want to join the Beer Meal Network, get in touch. I would love to build that even further, because we've got some really interesting folk in it already. But yeah, thank you again for watching. Feel free to post any questions and things in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys on the regular beer reviews again very, very soon. Slàinte, skål, cheers, and see you guys in reviews very, very soon.